Victoria had a long-running petty beef with this woman because she felt like she had stolen her identity. This is Adeline, the Countess of Cardigan, potentially one of Britain's most scandalous aristocrats in the 19th century. She was born in London in 1824 to a high-class family and was known to be incredibly beautiful. But Adeline got herself into some pretty major controversy when she got a little bit older because people noticed that she was taking unchaperoned hunting trips with her father's friend, the Earl of Cardigan. They had secretly begun a relationship, and when Adeline's father found out, she was kicked out of the family home. The Earl set her up in a house in Mayfair and she became his mistress. They couldn't get married because, well, the Earl was already married. However, him and his wife were privately separated. Conveniently, a year later, his wife died, and so the Earl and Adeline were able to elope to Gibraltar. When the couple returned to London, with Adeline now as the Countess of Cardigan, they were shunned by high society. The final blow came when Queen Victoria refused to allow the couple to visit court. She had taken particular offence to the fact that their marriage had begun whilst the Earl was still married. 10 years later, the Earl died, and Adeline married a Portuguese noble, the Count of Lancaster. That's not how that's pronounced. I'm very sorry. She began to go by the title the Countess of Cardigan and Lancaster, which seriously annoyed Queen Victoria, and there were two reasons for that. The first is that you're not technically supposed to combine titles, especially if one comes from a different country's nobility. And the second reason was Queen Victoria liked to travel incognito around Europe under the nickname the Countess of Lancaster. So now she was being confused with this incredibly scandalous woman. As an older woman back in England, the Countess was incredibly eccentric. She rode around her estate on a bicycle wearing her first husband's military uniforms, organised a steeplechase in a local graveyard, and was known to keep her coffin in her house. She would often get into the coffin when she had guests around to ask them whether they thought it suited her.